Hello there, and welcome once again to Building the Ark Show with yours truly, Rose Shiku. This is a podcast where we focus on ourselves. We talk about personal growth, self building, and personal development. Building the Ark is about hope, encouragement, transformation, and living life to the fullest with purpose and intention. Today's show is about patience. What is patience? It is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering. Patience is also forbearance or endurance. Basically, patience is waiting for something that you want, something that you need, something that is beneficial to you, something that is exciting, something that is rewarding. It is waiting to see results or benefits on something that you have been working for. That's what patience is. So you would like it now, but it's not available now. It's available at a later time or date. So you have to wait for it. And patience is your attitude while you're waiting for this. Let's look at two people in the Bible who had to wait. They had to exercise patience. And let's see if they ran out of patience or they were patient. And it is Sarah and Abraham in Genesis chapter 15. That's where we're going to begin. And in verse 3, Abraham is speaking to God and he says, I'm childless. So I think my servant is the one who's going to inherit everything that I have. He'll be my heir. And verse 4, God says, then the word of the Lord came to him. This man will not be your heir, but a son coming from your own body will be your heir. So God is assuring him and telling him, you're going to have a son from your own body. So he gets a promise from God. But it doesn't happen there, and they have to wait. So Genesis 16 focuses on Sarai. Her name at that time was Sarai. And it says, now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children, but she had an Egyptian servant named Hagar. So she said to Abram, the Lord has kept me from having children. Go sleep with my servant. Perhaps I can build a family through her. So she gets impatient. She has waited, and she has waited. And she says, you know what? This is not really working. Because remember, you want it now. Whatever it is that you're waiting for, you want it now. So she gets impatient. She can wait no longer. And she says, you know what? I've come up with a plan. We can work this out. Here's my servant. And if she conceives and bears you a son, the son is yours. He may not be mine, but he's yours. He has your blood. He has your DNA. So Abram agreed to what Sarai said. And verse 3 says, so after Abram had been living in Canaan 10 years, Sarai, his wife, took her Egyptian servant Hagar and gave her to her husband to be his wife. He slept with Hagar and she conceived. When she knew she was pregnant, she began to despise her mistress. She began to look down upon Sarai. Why? Because I have something that you do not have, something that you've been waiting for, something that you've been longing for, but I have it and you do not have. So verse 5 says, then Sarai said to Abram, you are responsible for the wrong I am suffering. I put my servant in your arms. Now that she knows she's pregnant, she despises me. May the Lord judge between you and me. So Sarai says, this plan B is not really working. I thought it was going to work out good, but it's not working out for my good. This girl is despising me. This girl is looking down upon me. This is not good. So she throws it back at her husband. I'm suffering because of you. So let's go on. Verse 6 says, your servant is in your hands. Abram said, do with her whatever you think best. Then Sarai mistreated Hagar. So she fled from her. So the servant decided, I need to run away because she was mistreated. So this plan B was not really working because this is not really the promise. This is not what God had intended. This was Sarah's plan. This is what she decided to devise because she could not wait any longer. Her patience had run out. But we continue. Genesis chapter 17, verse 15. God has not forgotten that he had promised them. So God also said to Abraham, as for Sarai, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai. Her name will be Sarah, and I will bless her and will surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations. Kings of people will come from her. So God revisits his promise again. Yes, I know you have waited, but the promise is still there. What you've been looking for, longing for, it is still there. I'm going to give it to you. Even if you tried a plan B, my plan A still stands. Verse 17, you can tell that Abraham had given up because he fell face down. He laughed and said to himself, will a son be born to a man 100 years old? And will Sarah bear a child at the age of 90? And Abraham said to God, if only Ishmael might live under your blessing. So it's like he's pleading with God. God, I've given up. I'm too old. My wife is too old. We are past this childbearing age. Why can't you just work with what we have made, what we have created? Why can't it be Ishmael? So why is waiting so hard? Here is Abraham and Sarah, and they're waiting and waiting and waiting. And we can see this journey of theirs has not been easy. So they reach a point, they try to work things out, and these things that they're working out doesn't work out well. Sarah ends up feeling despised. And God comes back and says, you know what, that promise that I promised you, I'm still going to give it to you. And if you read in Genesis chapter 18, they were promised once again. And they got 3 visitors, and these 3 visitors told them that by this time next year, you will have a son. And at this time, Sarah was the one laughing because she had given up, because she had forgotten. But God said, no, by this time next year, you're going to have a son. And that exactly happened. They were blessed with Isaac. So finally, they got what they had been waiting for, what they had been looking for, what they had wanted. So why is waiting so hard? Because waiting feels like it's a waste of time. You're waiting for something, it's not happening, so you feel like you're wasting time. That's what causes you to be impatient, because you feel like if I had it right now, I can move on with what I wanted to do, with what I need to do. But I have to wait because this thing that I'm waiting for has put a hold on anything that I want to do or become or achieve. So, how do you handle waiting? How do you cultivate patience, that attitude of patience while waiting? Number 1, do not give up. Keep running, keep walking, keep building, keep working, keep trying. Just keep on. Do not give up. Every day, keep doing what it is that you need to do. Number 2, focus. You have to remain focused. Do not shift your focus. Sarah shifted her focus, decided, you know what, here's my servant. And then when the servant was pregnant, she said, no, this is not working out. This woman is despising me. So be focused. Because the moment you try to make duplicates or you try to make copies, that's not the real thing. Ishmael was not the real thing. That's why the servant was despising Sarah. Because it's a duplicate. You want the real thing. So focus until you get the real thing. Number 3, find something to distract you from being impatient. Something to occupy your mind and your time. An activity, a hobby, a friend, a book to read. Because the moment you're idle and you keep worrying and thinking about this thing that is not happening now, that's when you get impatient and think of other ways to make it happen, which does not work out well for you. So if you can be busy during that time of waiting, keep building if you're building something, keep working, keep walking, or find an activity, a hobby, a friend, a book to read, a TV show, something that will occupy your mind so that when you start to feel impatient, it takes away that impatience from you. But there's a beauty in patience. Patience is not a bad thing. There is beauty in patience. If you read the book of Romans, chapter 5, verse 3 to 4, it says that patience produces experience, or it produces character, which produces hope. It produces experience. You get an experience. And with experience, you get better and better. People like to hire people who have experience. It produces character. We know character is what sustains you. You can make your way to the top, but if you don't have character, you will not be able to sustain your way at the top. You need character. And then it produces hope. We all want hope in our lives. So there's beauty in patience. So don't look at patience as an ugly thing, as, oh, I have to wait. There is beauty in patience. Look at yourself and say, what am I becoming through this experience of patience? Am I becoming a better person? Am I becoming a person filled with hope? Am I gaining experience? Is my character being molded? Patience is a beautiful thing. So thank you for listening, and join us once again next week for another episode as we continue on this journey of personal growth and development. I'd like to encourage you to share, subscribe, forward the link, tell a friend, leave a comment, just say something nice. Is this podcast touching you, speaking to you, encouraging you, and building you? Stay safe out there, keep healthy, practice patience, and keep building. And before you leave, I want to encourage you to check out on Amazon my new book. It is called Teach Me How to Pray by Rose Shiku on Amazon. It's a book about prayer, and not just prayer using the scriptures, prayer using the word of God. So this has been yours truly, Rose Shiku, with Building the Ark. Be intentional, reevaluate, and implement.